Gently close your eyes. Do deep breathing. We'll chant Om once together. Synchronize the chanting of Om with your exhalation. Breathe in. Sahana vavatu, sahanau bhunaktu, sahaviryam karavavahai, tejasvinavaditamastu ma vitvishavahay. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Gently open your eyes. We'll chant from verses 6 to 10 of chapter 3. Karmendriyani sanyamya,
कर्मेन्द्रियाणि संयम्य
ya aste manasa smaran,
य आस्ते मनसा स्मरन्
indriyartan vimudhatma,
इन्द्रियार्थान् विमूढात्मा
mithyachara sa uchyate.
मिथ्याचारः स उच्यते
Yastvindriyani manasa,
यस्त्विन्द्रियाणि मनसा
niyamyarabhaterjuna,
नियम्यारभतेऽर्जुन
karmendriyai karmayogam,
कर्मेन्द्रियै कर्मयोगम्
asaktah savishishyate.
असक्तः स विशिष्यते
Niyatam kuru karmatvam,
नियतं कुरु कर्म त्वम्
karmajyayo hyakarmanah,
कर्मज्यायो ह्यकर्मणः
sharirayatra pichate,
शरीरयात्रापि च ते
na prasidhyeda karmanah,
न प्रसिद्ध्येद कर्मणः
yajñarthat karmanonyatra,
यज्ञार्थात् कर्मणोऽन्यत्र
lokoyam karma bandhanah,
लोकोऽयं कर्मबन्धनः
tadartham karma kaunteya,
तदर्थं कर्म कौन्तेय
muktasanga samachara,
मुक्तसङ्गः समाचर
Saha yajna praja srishtva
सह यज्ञा प्रजा सृष्ट्वा
purovacha prajapatihi
पुरोवाच प्रजापतिः
anena prasavishyadvam
अनेन प्रसविष्यद्वम्
yeshavostvishta kamadhuk.
येषवोऽस्विष्टकामधुक्
Hari Om, and a very good day to all of you. So in the last few sessions, we have been seeing what is this karma bandhanaha, which he is mentioning here. So as it has been expounded to you, the word karma has so many connotations. You really cannot fix it to one particular meaning alone. Now, generally, in the yogic approach, what we do is we analyze or we go into the depth of any principle from both the relative level and from the absolute level. When you go into the depth of a principle from the relative level, now you gain a lot of practical tips. You will learn how to apply that particular principle in your life circumstances. That is so important because you are living your life. So if the philosophy which is being given or which you are grasping is only from the absolute level, there will be no relevance between what you're studying and what you're actually doing in life. A person, let us say, claims that he has all the knowledge of the Upanishads. He has mastered the 4 Vedas. He has studied the Bhagavad Gita many times. But let us say he is a very short-tempered person. He is unable to control his own temper. Now, what is the use of all that knowledge? He may be talking about Brahman, the ultimate reality, infinite and all that, but he doesn't have control over his own temper. That is not going to help at all. So what he needs to do first is apply those principles which he has learnt from his level. Relative level means from your level, wherever you are. How do you determine your level? The condition of your mind determines your level. It is not how much you know which determines your level. If mere knowledge can determine a person's spiritual level, then a computer should be a self-realized entity by now, because you can feed in maximum information and knowledge to a computer. That is not it. So one is the knowledge aspect, what you know, what you understand, what you're able to conceive. The other is the condition of your mind today? How much is your mind stressed? How much are you truly happy? How content are you? How peaceful are you? What is the level of your mastery over your own mind? When you're interacting with people, what are the kind of emotions you are generating? Are you constantly quarreling with others? Are you generating love and affection which makes the others who move with you very peaceful? These are all the questions you should ask yourself. If you just observe your own mind, you will immediately understand what your level is. See, the problem is generally people assess their level based on their level of knowledge. But if you want to become a yogi, if you want to become truly a sthita prajna, you should not do that. Because the moment you do that, you will start creating a disparity between what level your mind is in and the level of your understanding. Because if you merely look at your understanding and assess yourself, you will boost your ego unnecessarily. Just because you theoretically know a few things, let's say, what is the Atman, what is Brahman, what is sadhana, it could be even the Yoga Sankirtan sadhana. Somebody asks you, what is this Yoga Sankirtan? You are able to explain very clearly what this Yoga Sankirtan is. Now, just because you are able to do that, that doesn't put you on a higher pedestal in terms of spiritual development. This is something which you need to fully understand as a sadhak. So ask yourself, what is the condition of my mind? How happy am I? How will you determine the level of your happiness? See, why I am mentioning that is because when you talk of bandhana, means being a slave, being bound, the moment we talk of bondage, it means you cannot be happy. A bound person cannot be happy. What is this bondage? Karma bandhana. We are talking about the bondage of the mind. So ask yourself, how happy am I? How will you determine the level of your happiness? When everything is going on fine around you, the mind will feel very happy. When a desire is fulfilled, immediately the mind will feel very happy in an excited way. These are all not the tests by which you can determine what is your level. The real test is when something goes wrong outside, how disturbed is your mind becoming? That is what you should see. You're facing some challenge in your life. How agitated does your mind become? You have some physical ailment, let us say some pain in your body, just a small pain you get in your shoulder or neck. Oh, immediately the mind gets into a panic mode, or you just have a cold, a little bit of cold or cough. Immediately the mind gets so tense. You do the internet search, what can it be? And the internet, anything you take, they will give you from one extreme to the other extreme. A normal pain. What can it be due to? I have a pain in my ankle, for example. Now you go and try to look at it. They will say it can be a sprain, it can be a muscle spasm, it can be a ligament tear, it can be tendon, right up to bone cancer. All the possibilities will be given. Now the moment you read all that, now the mind gets more disturbed. Consciously you may put on a brave front, but at the subconscious level, the agitations will be on. That is what is the bandhana. See, your own mind is not under your control today. And it is why is he using the word bandhana? Bandhana means bondage, imprisonment. You are a captive of your own mind. Bandhana actually means captivity. You are a slave of your mind. Actually, it should be the reverse. You should be the master of your mind. It is only through years of sadhana that one can actually become a master. Becoming a master means one can gain mastery over his or her own mind. It doesn't happen overnight like that. So you should spend some time and find out what is this, what is the level of my happiness, what is the level of my peace. If you say, whenever I am alone, I am happy, but when I interact with people, then I get agitated, I become very uncomfortable. Then that determines your level. It can be a reverse also. Some people, when I am with people, they say, when I am with others, I feel very nice. But when I am all alone, I feel lonely. I feel very stressed. Again, that determines your level. So there are grades of challenges, external challenges and internal also, starting from your health to so many aspects. How strong are you internally? How calm, how much of calmness is there when you confront the various challenges of life? That is what you are, that is what your level is. If you really want to improve yourself, first you need to determine your level. You may see, we talk of putting percentages and all that. That is only to gain some more clarity. Even if you don't spell it out in terms of percentages, at least you will get a fair idea. What is interesting is, a person may be at a very low level in terms of mastery over the mind, but that person may be talking about the highest philosophy. Vedanta means the end of Vedas. Veda Anta. Veda means knowledge. It's not restricted merely to the Rig Veda, Sama Veda, Yajur Veda and Atharvana Veda. Veda means knowledge, the higher knowledge. Veda Anta, Vedanta means the highest knowledge, the end of all knowledges. The Upanishads deal with Vedanta only. They are called a Vedanta. So, a person who has no control over the mind may be talking the highest Upanishadic truths, may be able to genuinely understand the higher things to a good extent. But all that does not determine your level. That is why in the Bhajagovindam, Adi Shankaracharya, he says, Yogaratova Bhogaratova Sangarato va sangavihinaha, which means you may be in yoga, means external practices of spirituality, or you may be in bhoga, so-called enjoyment of life. Sangaratova, you may be with company. Sangavihinaha, you may be without company, you may be all alone. All these things do not determine whether you are spiritual or not. Then in the next line he says, Yasya Brahmani Ramate Chittam Nandati Nandati Nandatyeva. One whose mind, Yasya Brahmani Ramate Chittam. Chittam means all the thoughts, entire mind is focused on Brahman. Brahman means the ultimate infinite truth. That person rejoices. That person is truly spiritual. So that is why in the yogic approach we are very clear. Whenever we take a principle, we understand it from the absolute level also, because see, whenever you gain knowledge from the absolute level, that uplifts you, that inspires you, that gives you a direction as to this is where I need to go. This is my ultimate goal in life. So that thought gets strengthened. There is a very big advantage when you gain knowledge from the absolute level, provided you use it properly. If you don't use it properly, it can cause a lot of trouble. But when you use it properly, it can become a source of inspiration. So that is one aspect of the yogic approach. But we never stop with that. We always see how can this principle be applied from the relative level, that is from your level. It is in going into the depth from the relative level that you can get the practical tips for sadhana. So on one hand, your understanding is very deep from the absolute level, you are very inspired, but at the same time, this will ensure that you remain grounded. You know what your level of spiritual development is. So you will not act based on your understanding alone, but you will act based on what level you are in. From the highest level, happiness is inside only. There is no doubt about it. It is the infinite happiness which is there within you. Once you get connected to that infinite state, you become permanently happy. But from a relative level, your mind does find happiness in various things in the world. So as a sadhak, if you apply this yogic approach, you will use both these aspects, the absolute wisdom and the relative wisdom, correctly. You will absorb this idea that happiness is inside, not outside, and get inspired by that. So your goal gets strengthened. You become more consistent in your path. But at the same time, you understand that today your mind is not at that level. You are getting happiness in so many things. So you will apply the principle from a relative level. Ask yourself, what is it that I want? What are the goals I need to fix? You will fulfill your desires in a very disciplined way, in a sadhana way. You will exhaust your vasanas or desires, and you will truly move up. So a person who understands only from the absolute level and leaves it at that will become very impractical. Such a person will talk high philosophy, but practically he may be addicted to alcohol, smoking, so many things. But he may be talking the highest philosophy. That's why they say, devil quoting the scriptures, they say, very beautiful word. If you read the Puranas, very, very interesting. The negative characters speak a lot of philosophy. Whether it is Ravana or whether it is Duryodhana, they talk a lot of philosophy. If you just per se read the philosophy, you will wonder, is that person a negative person or is he a self-realized master? Deliberately they have put it like that, just to tell you that there is a big disparity between what you know and what you are actually practicing. So a person who stops with the higher level understanding will not be able to grow spiritually, will not be able to conquer his or her own weaknesses and become strong. On the other hand, a person who has no idea of what the higher knowledge is, merely just dabbles with the relative aspects, may succeed from a worldly point of view, but that person cannot have a true spiritual growth because he or she does not have the higher goal in mind. So that is why in the yogic approach we combine both these aspects. Every principle we take from the relative level and from the absolute level. So when we see karma bandhanaha, from the relative level, what is that which is bound? Your own mind. Your mind is bound to circumstances. If circumstances are good, you are happy, your mind is happy. The circumstances are negative, immediately your mind gets stressed. And not only that, you here I am separating you from your mind. You means your consciousness. That is bound to your mind. Whatever happens to your body, whatever happens to your mind, whatever happens to your thoughts, all that happened to you. This is a little more subtle. In the relative level itself, it is a little more higher. Where you separate yourself as a jivatma and you see the finite equipments. Karma means any finite manifestations, the physical body, the pranas, the emotions, the thoughts, all these things cause a bandhanaha. You are bound by the finite. You are in a state of karma bandhanaha. And the entire aim of sadhana is to expand this jivatma, expand the limited consciousness. Rather, actually the consciousness is not limited. That is from the highest standpoint. That's what today we are. I'll also give you the meaning of karma bandhanaha. One dimension I'll give you from the absolute level so that it will inspire you further. So from the highest standpoint, consciousness is never conditioned. But from a relative standpoint, there is something called conditioned consciousness. The limited soul, as we call it. If you bring in the highest knowledge and ask me, sir, but soul can never be limited, then you're shifting levels. See, the entire scriptures talk from two levels, as I told you, absolute, relative. So when you understand something, you first need to determine the level. Then only you will have that clarity. So the entire goal of sadhana is to go on expanding the Jivatma till it realizes its true nature, which is that of the infinite, called the Paramatma. When it is expanded fully, then all the bandhana, all the bondage, imprisonment, captivity, everything will go away. That is why that state was called moksha or nirvana, means liberation. Complete liberation from the finite. See, most people have a very funny concept. They think moksha is after you die. It is mentioned in the scriptures that only when you die you can attain moksha. But again, it is all put in coded language, in a yogi's language, in the yogic language. That's why you need a yogi to decode them. When it is said in the scriptures that you can attain moksha only when you die, they are not talking about the physical death. They are talking about the death of the ego. When your ego, when your individuality dies, you become one with the infinite, and you gain moksha, full liberation. But a common mind understands death as a physical death. So there is a lot of confusion there. Some people say, no, you cannot attain. Why think about moksha and all that now? That is only after death, no. Please understand, physical death means nothing in the spiritual field. What is physical death? You are dropping one body and you're taking up another body. You are continuing to exist as an individual. So what a common man calls as death is not considered as death by the yogis. When someone dies, you say, oh, that person is no more. That statement itself is actually wrong from a spiritual standpoint, because that person is still existing. That person has only dropped that particular body, and he or she is going to come back. So the yogis never meant the physical death. So what is the true death which they are talking about? The death of the ego, the death of the individuality, the death of all the limitations. So in that sense, when you die, you are reborn as the infinite. You attain moksha. All the scriptures talk in coded language, in the yogic language. So just as you have various subjects, if you take mathematics, there is a mathematical language, the formulae, all these things will be there. Now, if it is said that a plus b the whole squared is equal to a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. Now, if you take the literal meaning of a, b as letters of English letters, then there is no meaning in that formula. So A, what does it represent? B, what does it represent? See, only a mathematician will help you. This is of course very, very basic mathematics which I am talking about. As it becomes more advanced, the language becomes more coded. Same thing in science also. If you go and ask a person who has done deep research in the theory of relativity, what is it? He may say E equals mc squared. That's where they start off with. Now, what is that E? What is that m? What is that c? Why exactly this equation has come about? Just to understand that it takes many years. I know one physicist. He has done lifetime research on relativity, specialization. And the funniest part is if you go and talk to him, he'll say, I have not yet understood relativity. If you don't know his background, you may think he is uneducated or something. Very deep knowledge he has. So similarly, if you take a computer, now there are different programming languages. Coded language. The same information is given in a coded way. So a technical person will be able to decode and tell you what it means. Same thing with respect to spirituality also. These scriptures are all written in coded language. If you take them literally, you will not make any sense out of it. I am introducing this principle now because it will be very useful when we are studying yajna. Because most people, when he says you should do yajna in this verse, then next couple of verses also we are going to see what yajna is. Now many people have taken yajna to mean literally the fire ritual. Where that is not what he is talking about here, the physically doing the fire ritual. That's not what he is mentioning here. It's a very, very deep principle which he is giving. So, the yogis have said that it is only when you die that you can gain freedom. It is only when your ego dies, when your individuality dies, that you gain the totality, you become totally free. You come out of this karma bandhanaha. So when we study karma bandhanaha in depth, simultaneously you also conceive of a state which is total freedom. Then the energies in you will become balanced. Because there is the problem and there is a solution. So what did we see from the relative level? Karma means the action and consequence, the cause and effect. We saw the law of karma, all that we saw. Then if you take it a little more higher, what is this karma? Karma is nothing but your emotions and thoughts. Now, if you take it a little more higher, higher means you make it more subtle, then karma represents the impressions. Last week, I was explaining to you about the impressions a little bit. See, one aspect itself will take many, many weeks to explain. We can go on because all these principles have infinite dimensions. But based on the context, that much information is given and the energy is given. So you do sadhana with it. And then as we go along, other things also will be added up. So all these things are different grades at the relative level itself. Now, from the absolute level, what is this karma bandhanaha? Bandhanaha means confinement, captivity. From the absolute level, any kind of expression is karma. Any kind of manifestation is karma. So when they talk of karma bandhanaha, they are talking of this samsaric existence. What do we mean by samsara? The birth, death cycle in which you are caught up with today. See, this is a stepping up of the level. So only if you focus, you can get a hang of what is being given. When you are right now sitting here and listening to this, you are thinking that your life started a few years back. See, if I were to ask you, when did your life start? What will be your answer? You will give a year and a date, time also, and you will say, this is when I was born. So when you're giving that particular date and time and year, you're referring to the starting point of this birth, which is the birth of this body. There also there is a lot of debate whether this birth started when you came out of the mother's womb or when as a fetus, when the sperm and egg united, that time itself your life started. Many people have a debate on that. Now let's not get into so many specifics. Generally speaking, when has your life started? You will give your birthday. Similarly, if we take a person who has died, from a normal sense only I am using the word, when has that person's life ended? You will give his death day. You may give a death certificate and say, this is a time, this is a day in which that person has passed away. So your understanding, your definition of life is between your birthday and death day of this birth, of this body. Now, the way a yogi looks at this whole thing is totally different. From a yogic standpoint, this birth is not the beginning of your life. The day or the moment there was a separation from the infinite, the first manifestation or expression, which is what is meant by karma, that is the starting point of your life. And once you get into that illusion, I am so and so, the Jivatma. Now the Jivatma or the individual soul or you as the Jivatma, you take up a physical body. And then after a while you drop that physical body, you take up another body. And then again you drop it. You take up another body, again you drop it. So your starting point, that is the starting point of your life, is not this birth, but you have been living for many births. As in the scriptures they say, Aneka Janma, means many births. In the next chapter, Krishna will be telling that to Arjuna. He says, Arjuna, you have gone through many births, but you do not know them. I know them, he says. Krishna being the Supreme Lord, he says, you are thinking this is only the starting point, but I can see your starting point is going endlessly on the side. You have gone through many births, and today you are here listening to this wisdom, O Arjuna. You know not all those births, but I know them all, he says. So when a master looks at the student, he does not look at merely this life. He sees what are all the baggage, the luggage which the student has brought from the past. Past means here many births. So when Krishna is giving an advice to Arjuna, it is not that he is just looking at Arjuna's present problem and he gives a solution. He sees the source. That is why sometimes, when a student approaches a master, and asks for a solution. The student says, this is what the problem is. Now the master may say something else. Even though this is the present problem, the master may not consider that as a main issue. Something else may be causing this issue from the past. So the master may give a solution to that. Now immediately the student feels, oh, master hasn't understood whatever I'm communicating. It is not that the master does not understand. The master is seeing something which the student is not seeing. That is what Krishna says. Arjuna, I can see all the births, but you are not aware of them. In other words, what Krishna is trying to tell Arjuna is that, see, your knowledge or your concept of life itself is very limited, just to the beginning and end of this body. Whereas from a yogic perspective, the body is the outermost covering. The soul's journey has been going on for millions and millions of years. It goes on endlessly. So that birth-death cycle is what is called as samsara. It is like an ocean, and you as the individual soul, you are bound by that. And it is because of this bondage that you are unable to see what you are truly, which is that infinite reality. You are disconnected from the infinite and you are bound by this samsaric cycle of birth and death. Which is called as karma. This is from the absolute standpoint. You know, in many places, this karma bandhana is used, like in the Guru Stotram, which we chant, the yogic chanting which we do, the meditation which we do every Guru Purnima. No? In that there is a verse, no? Aneka janma samprapta karma bandha vidahini atma jnana pradhanena tasmai shri gurave namaha. So, aneka janma samprapta. See, whatever I have accumulated from many births, samprapta means what I have obtained. What? Karma bandhana. So I bow down to my Guru, I bow down to that Guru Shakti who gives that jnanam, who gives that wisdom with that energy to come out of this karma bandhana which I have accumulated from when? Many births, aneka janma. In the Vishnu Sahasranama it is said, Yasya smarana matrena janma samsara bandhanat vimuchyate namastasmai vishnave prabha vishnave. Just by smarana of that supreme infinite reality, janma samsara bandhanat vimuchyate. This entire samsaric cycle can be broken and you can become free. That is the very purpose of your life. It is only a human being who has this capacity. That is why in the scriptures they say the human birth is so precious. The human birth is envied by even the gods. Why? Because only as a human being you can do sadhana. That is why I keep on telling you all, just imagine, so many billions of people are there. Now, how many people are even aware of all this? They are just enmeshed, caught up in the samsara. Out of that, a select few now become aware of this. Let me do the sadhana, let me get the higher wisdom. Out of all of them, only a very few get exposed to the yogic approach. Because it's so subtle, it's so deep. People want entertainment. The greatest of masters are not known because they don't provide any entertainment. A person who provides a lot of entertainment becomes famous as a guru very fast. But a true master will just stick to the basics, will just stick to the truth in a pure way. No adulteration. Now, not only exposed to the yogic approach, out of all of them, very few get exposed to the Yoga Sankirtan. Believe me, the Yoga Sankirtan meditation is the most powerful sadhana. So that is why I keep on saying, you're so blessed. You should consider yourself as very blessed because you have been exposed to the subtlest sadhanas. Now it is only a question of time. When you keep doing the sadhana, when you keep gaining this wisdom in the yogic way, using the yogic approach, slowly, you will come out of this samsaric cycle. The bondage caused because of samsara. See, without knowing the true meaning of samsara, some people use the word samsara in a loose way. They think samsara means getting married and family life is samsara. It's not that. Samsara is actually to do with how bound you are mentally. A person says, I have given up family life, this, that, I'll go and sit in the forest. There he can get attached to something. One Siddha, he says, in the Himalayas, he actually saw two sadhaks, two yogis. We are putting yogis in quotes. Now, they had left everything and they had gone to the Himalayan forest to meditate. But he says one day they both started fighting with each other about a particular place. One person said, this is my place, this is where I meditate every day. The other person said, no, I like this place. Who gave you the authority of ownership? This belongs to me. So they started fighting, and the funniest part is they started hitting each other. So what the Siddha says is, when I saw that I was so amused, he says, because these people have left everything, what people would call as samsara, and they have come here. But he says, I could see that they are more deeply involved in another kind of samsara. So samsara is not about the external circumstances. It is about where your mind is, where your consciousness is. You may be in the thick and thin of your life and yet be a liberated one. You may be away from so-called normal worldly activities and yet be very, very bound. Karma bandhanaha is a very strange phenomenon. So just for a moment, if you can absorb this energy, who am I? Am I this physical body? No. Am I these emotions? No. Am I these thoughts? Definitely no. I am that consciousness. I am that individual soul. I have traveled in this journey of many, many births. I have been born many a times. I have died many a times. But I continue to exist. I am this Atma today. I am the Jivatma. And the purpose of my life is to break these shackles, go beyond this samsara, break this karma bandhana and become one with that infinite Paramatma. So when he says, I am lokaha loko, I am karma bandhanaha, means lokaha, the experience, whatever you are going through is nothing but karma bandhanaha. From the highest standpoint, it is karma bandhanaha because you have got disconnected from that infinite. You have forgotten yourself, as it were. You are in a state of spiritual hypnosis. You are completely conditioned, bound by the finite. Whereas the truth is, you are that infinite. Tat Tvam Asi means that thou art. You are that. What an amazing, inspiring wisdom this is. The ancient wisdom gives you the highest truths. It tells you what your purpose is. That is why they gave the term Veda Anta, Vedanta. Means the end of all knowledges. Any other knowledge which you gain is all limited. Actually, it gets you more bound only to the samsara when we look at it from the absolute sense. But it is this wisdom alone which can liberate you from this thraldom of your own perceptions, emotions, thoughts, of everything which is finite, of this samsara. And the moment we talk of breaking the shackles of this karma bandhana called samsara, now you cannot do it by yourself. It can happen only with the help of the higher grace. And that is why the greatest of saints, the greatest of jnanis bow down in utter devotion to that supreme infinite reality. You can put in efforts to prepare yourself. You can put in all the efforts to purify yourself. But that final experience is not in your hands. You just have to leave everything to that infinite and allow the energy to take its course, to have its way. That is the supreme devotion called Para Bhakti. From the highest standpoints, Jnanam and Bhakti go hand in hand. They are two sides of the same coin. A person who has the highest knowledge, Para Jnanam, will have the highest Bhakti, Para Bhakti, the highest devotion. Every great yogi got into that state of it cannot be expressed in words, where you put in all the effort which is required, and then you realize that you cannot handle this, you cannot do this, and you drop everything and just receive that highest grace. If you straight away do it without putting in effort, you will get into tamas. Because, see, the tamasic mind is waiting to hear these things. This is what I was waiting for, Yogishri. Drop all your efforts. Just surrender. Thank you very much. I will practice it now itself. You will devolve further. That's why I am carefully mentioning. Having put in all the efforts, having come to that final stage, then you just leave it to the infinite. That state is called effortless effort. In Zen Buddhism, they call it as effortless effort. Means you put all the effort and then there is that state of effortlessness. That is the way you can get freed from the karma bandhana. That is the sacred moment where the Jivatma reunites with the Paramatma. Actually, we are using the word reuniting. That is also from the relative level only. From the highest standpoint, the Jivatma has expanded fully and it becomes the Paramatma. It realizes that it is the Paramatma, the infinite. Actually, words fall short when we try to explain these things. No one word can do justice to the highest truths. It is beyond all words, because we are trying to capture that which is beyond expressions through the grossest expression, which is words. Words can capture very little. When it comes to emotions, that can capture much more. When it comes to thoughts, again much more, because they are all subtler expressions. But the infinite can be experienced in its entirety only when you drop all the expressions and you sit in total silence. That can happen only to a person who has done a lot of sadhana and purified himself or herself. No disturbances whatsoever. We are not talking about the external disturbances. We are talking about the internal disturbances. From that highest level, even a single thought is an unnecessary disturbance. You settle everything and you are in a state of shunya, nothingness. And in that state of shunya, you experience the state of purna, purnatvam, which is completeness. It is when you become purnam, when you attain that state, that you have broken this karma bandhana completely. So the entire sadhana is preparing you step by step at every level. The intensity, the nature of the sadhana will also start becoming different as you progress. And it will take you to that point of doing nothing but embracing everything. You cannot practice it straight away. This wisdom is being given to you so that you get inspired by that. Don't try to emulate a yogi. If you try to emulate a yogi, you will only try to imitate that person. That's why it is said as an advice, what these great masters say is that never do what your guru does. do what he says. Because what he does will be from his level, but what he says will be from your level. Most people, what they do is they look at their guru and then they try to imitate. It doesn't work like that. So, Lokoyam karma bandhanaha. This world is in a state of karma bandhanaha. Is bound by action is a translation, but now a higher translation. This world means whatever your life is, this lokaha, this experience which you're having now, lokaha also means dimension, no? Whatever dimension you're in, whatever experience you're having, it is in a state of karma bandhanaha. Why? Because it is a part of that samsaric cycle. So this is the reason why they describe that state of self-realization as that which is beyond birth and death. So when you absorb this energy from the absolute level, you're right now experiencing that, isn't it? Your whole mind calms down. Your vibrations become very different. You start vibrating at a high frequency. You become very, very meditative. It happens naturally. But don't immediately conclude and think this is my level. No, it is because we are using the yogic approach. It is because you're doing this, doing the sadhana with the master that you're temporarily uplifted. But what is your level? We covered that earlier. The condition of your mind represents your level. So that is where you need to practice this wisdom. So if you understand this in the right sense, there is no confusion at all. You will keep on getting inspired whenever the Guru talks from his level, from the absolute level. And you will also keep progressing spiritually by taking all the relative tips, the sadhana tips which the Guru gives you, and you will practice it from your level. You will go on solving all your issues. You will resolve all your issues, whether they are financial issues or relationship issues or health issues, whatever they be. You will keep on resolving them. See, ultimately, all the issues are related to your karmas only. So, when you do it in a sadhana way, you will be removing the karmic blocks and thus resolving the issues. We are not talking of mere external solutions. And when you keep resolving your issues in a sadhana way, now that will keep on purifying you. It will keep pushing you up in the spiritual ladder. Your mind will start coming under your control. Your mind will start becoming truly happy and content. You will be a great achiever in the world, but nothing will touch you. Participating in the samsaric world is different, and getting bound by that is different. I want you to understand the difference between the two. So they are not asking you to leave anything. Rather, they are asking you to live your life fully and slowly through sadhana transcend this bondage. They are only asking you to come out of this karma bandhanaha, not come out of life per se, externally. So, lokaha ayam karma bandhanaha yajñartat karmanonyatra. This world is bound by action other than actions done for the sake of sacrifice. Other than means anyatra, except. So on one hand, he talks of karma bandhanaha, which actually defines the problem. On the other hand, he says anyatra means except. See, all the everyone is bound by the karma. The karma bandhana is there, except means he is also going to give a solution. This is the beauty of these great masters. They are not problem oriented, they are solution oriented. You should also develop the same attitude in life. The mind tends to fall in love with the problems. You're so happy talking about your problems. You want to create a kind of a pity. You pity yourself and you want others also to pity you. Oh, you know how much suffering I have gone through. There is a vicarious pleasure which your mind gets by saying that I have so many issues, I have so many problems. What is that vicarious pleasure? Somebody feels sad for you. That is a temporary pleasure. But who is suffering? It is ultimately you only. So, if you want to become a good sadhak, you should shift this problem-oriented approach to life. That is, from the problem-oriented approach to solution-oriented approach. Don't keep on talking about your problems. That will only increase it further. Instead, find solutions. In this, the ancient wisdom has all the solutions. The sadhana is the key. Instead of doing that, you are only pitying yourself. Whenever you are caught up in the problem, it becomes a state of bandhanaha. You feel there is no way out. But when you go to a master, he tells you there is a way out, do these things. But your mind does not want to do that. It wants to stay put with the problem. That is why he uses the word anyatra. Very powerful word, Anyatra means everyone is bound except. We are going to see what type of activity or what is it that you need to do in order to come out of this bandhana. Number one, whatever bondage you have created, you need to come out of. Number two, you should not get into the state of bondage again. All that we'll be seeing in detail. But as a shift, he uses the word anyatra, just to shift your focus from the problem to the solution. So it is not merely in this verse, in your life itself. Whenever you face any problem, look for solutions. The mind will just want to cry. The mind will just want to indulge in that sorrow. The mind will wallow in self-pity, and the mind will also want others to pity you. Don't fall a trap to all that. Don't fall a prey. Instead, rise above your mind, rise above the weaknesses of your mind. Become solution oriented. Do your sadhana on a daily basis. Who is preventing you from doing your sadhana? It is a self-imposed limitation. When a person says, I don't have time, I am busy, that it's all self-imposed. Who is preventing you from doing your daily sadhana? Nobody. Who is preventing you from watching these sessions every Sunday? It is your choice only. Who can prevent you from attending the empowerment programs if you truly want to? Nobody can. You keep on putting self-imposed limitations on yourself, and then you become bound. The time has come where you decide, you choose to liberate yourself, you choose to become free. Okay? So we'll stop with that today. Today's session was very powerful. The energy levels were very high because we saw karma bandhanaha from the absolute standpoint. So whenever we do that, the energy levels become very high. It inspires you completely, So just absorb this energy. You can watch this any number of times you want and absorb that energy which is being given through these sessions. Okay? Before we do the Nididhyasana meditation, just a small, it's not a question which I'm answering, it's a point which Subramanian ji has put in the YouTube section, where he has mentioned that he wanted to go for work to the US, some project he wanted to take up, and he put it as a goal. And the moment he registered for this Yoga Sankirtan empowerment, suddenly his boss called him and said, among the select few, you have been selected for this particular project. So within 15 minutes you need to send your details. We're going to apply for the visa. So he said it looked like a miracle. That's what he has mentioned. I'm sure all of you also would have read that. Now, what I want to mention to Subramaniam ji and others is that enjoy these experiences when such things happen. Why is it happening, first of all? Because the moment you do your sadhana and you are wanting to take up the higher empowerment, that changes the energy pattern from within. It attracts a lot of positivity. And I told you, the moment you register, the healing energy also will be sent to prepare you. That itself will break a lot of karmic blocks. So it is not only Subramaniam ji who has mentioned this. There are so many others who are experiencing amazing, wonderful things in life. You keep sending me messages, mail. Now to all the sadhaks, this is one message which I want to give. That is, when you face such good things in life, just surrender it to the higher. Enjoy that fully. But remember, that is not our main aim in life. All these are wonderful experiences in the path towards the truth. The primary aim of these empowerment sessions or the sadhana is not restricted to this. So just keep that in the back of your mind. Enjoy it fully. Don't withhold yourself. I want you to experience that happiness. Even if it is worldly happiness, it's okay. Get into that mode. But remember, at the back of your mind, have this thought going, or at least this understanding that my ultimate purpose in life is different. Why I am mentioning that is because we are doing karma bandhanaha. When you taste success, the mind can get involved fully. So that is why I am mentioning this, so that you experience and enjoy all these wonderful things which you're getting because of the higher grace and sadhana without getting entangled. See, enjoy everything in life in a detached way. Okay. So now we'll do the Nididhyasana meditation. Gently close your eyes. Breathe in a deep way. With every breath, I am becoming more and more relaxed. Feel the divine vibrations. With every breath, I am going deeper and deeper into myself. I am not this physical body. I am not these various emotions and thoughts. I am the soul, Atma. My ultimate purpose in life is to come out of karma bandhanaha and merge with that infinite consciousness. I am Swayam Prakashit, self-illuminating. Offer your gratitude to God Supreme. Offer your gratitude to your Guru and all the holy masters. Slowly come back. Wriggle your fingers, your toes. Rub your palms together to create a warmth. Cup your eyes with your palms. Gently rub your eyes, cheeks, forehead, top of the head, back of the head and neck. Slowly open your eyes. Welcome back. We had a very deep and purifying session. Soak yourself in this wisdom, which alone will help you in your journey. Otherwise, you will get lost. Do your sadhana every day. We are going to have the Yoga Sankirtan empowerment from 25th of this month. It's a 5-day course where it's going to be very, very powerful. Year by year, the energy is being increased. That's why we are having it every year. The more you get exposed to that, it will be of such great use to you to expand your consciousness. So every Sunday I am preparing you for the empowerment. You should also follow it up with your personal sadhana. And as I've told you, the moment you register, the moment you commit, from that moment onwards, you will start receiving the healing energy. Every day, the preparatory healing is being given to all the sadhaks who have registered themselves, so that at the time of empowerment, you will be able to easily receive the higher Shakti and you can very easily purify yourself. Okay? So thank you very much. I'll see you in the next session. Hari Om.